In Genesis, God told his people, you are stewards of the land. Being a steward doesn't mean you can do whatever the heck you want because, you have dominion. If you think about that, like I have dominion, I'm in charge, I can do what I want to do. That's not what God intended. And that's not what the Bible really points out. My name's Tom Zimmer, and I'm a professor for the Outdoor Leadership Program. And then I'm also the executive director of Core Expeditions. We run about 150 week-long trips throughout the year, but the biggest thing we try to do is get people to go outside to experience beauty and nature and grow towards their faith, because being out there and getting away from all the distractions and getting away from screens so they can actually kind of see Christ through the outdoors is our ultimate goal. I've been here for 11 years. I grew up in Colorado Springs, and I also spent 6 years in Salt Lake City. And then I worked all over, primarily in the West, as an outdoor educator and ski patrolling in the wintertime, and then raft guiding in the summertime for years, and as well as rock climbing instructor and ice climbing instructor and mountain biking and kind of everything outdoors. But being on the river is my favorite thing in the summer. There's just something about being on the water that's just, it draws me more than rock climbing, more than mountain biking. I love those other things, but nothing like the river. I definitely feel like in general, we're getting less snow. That means less water in the summertime, so lower rivers. I feel like it snowed more in the 80s and 90s than it did in the last 20 years. I mean, I think a trend of less water, less number of seasons where the river's running, and a shorter season, and more people who are falling in love with rafting and kayaking, I think it's just going to become more and more difficult, and it already has. Certainly like warmer temperatures happening this year. And again, we're still seeing like some really cold spurts and some really hot spurts and seasons where there's a ton of snow. But in general, I'm seeing more of a trend of like where we're having drier and drier years. And we still have maybe a good year mixed in between, but there seems to be more drier years than good years. Christians should just recognize that they're stewards. They're stewards of each other. They're stewards of their family, and they should also be stewards of the land. But I don't think that there's much that like good stewards of the environment are asking that is like significantly making huge burdens on people's lives. So if you're doing some of these things like trying to be nice to the environment and it's not going to change, so great, you still did some good things that are nice to the environment. A lot of those things are good social things that just help out your neighbors, help out the people around you. But what if you didn't do things and you could have helped? There's a big deal there, right? So why not just do it anyway? The way I think it needs to be fixed, you need to get kids outside. You need to get parents outside. You need to get grandma and grandpa outside, and they need to see those spaces. Start with just the local stuff. You don't need to know how to climb or have fancy harnesses and helmets, and you don't need that stuff. Start by getting kids outside. I do believe that God is calling us to take care of the earth because the earth can't take care of itself.